Arkansas State Police are investigating a deadly shooting. This happening in Johnson County. Law enforcement telling 5 News it happened this evening in the City Park area in Coal Hill in Johnson County. Investigators have not said if they have a suspect yet. Stay with 5 News, of course, as we work to learn more about this investigation. Tonight, the city of Rogers coming together to honor the men and women who have served our country. The school district, the Chamber of Commerce, and city leaders all partnering for the first ever Rogers Veterans Day celebration. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer brings us one veteran's story.
Rogers Public Schools called this a true community celebration, an event that brings everyone from Northwest Arkansas together to say thank you and appreciate our veterans. For veteran Billy Allen Gum, the day brings back decades of memories, all beginning in 1965.
Got my draft notice in 8 days. It was good. My life took a different direction.
That direction led to 23 years in the Army, serving first in the infantry and later as military police.
I was just, looking at enjoying life, going to the beach in California, just hanging out. And, God obviously had a different plan for me.
After retiring from the military, he found ways to keep serving in police work and through his community.
If you work for your Uncle Sam, for the government, in the service of your country, you have heart knowledge.
Billy, along with dozens of other veterans, were celebrated for serving. And giving back is something Superintendent Jeff Perry says is a core value of Rogers Public Schools.
Whether you're serving in the armed forces or you're serving in your community, it's about having that serving heart and about making sure that you leave the wood pile just a little higher than you found it.
Students helped plan and perform throughout the evening, taking a moment to reflect on what service and sacrifice really means.
Here in Rogers, we value them, we love them, we see them, and we're so thankful for all that they've done and all that they continue to do.
And as fireworks closed out the celebration, Billy says he's reminded of how his journey began all those years ago with a draft notice and how the service of others continues today.
I look at my father and grandfathers and my wife's fathers and grandfathers. I look at both my children, my grandsons. I mean, I have to say, wow, God, you've been faithful both to our country and to those that serve.
This is the first year Rogers has hosted a celebration of this size. It's a part of their Community First initiative, and from tonight's success, I think there'll be plenty more in the future. In Rogers, covering news where you live, Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
Absolutely. All right, Lauren, thank you. At our state capitol, Secretary of State Cole Jester and others added 28 names to the Gold Star Families Memorial Monument. The project began in 2016 when a group of Marine veterans began raising money. It continues today thanks to students at Calvary Academy in North Little Rock, serving as a moment for Arkansans to remember the cost of freedom and the families who continue to bear that sacrifice.
Well, we want to make sure that our fallen are not forgotten. The families are left behind with a legacy to carry on, and so we want to make sure that our families know that our community supports them and loves them and remembers them. They served, they sacrificed, and we're going to make sure that we are there for them not only as a community, but to also honor them and their legacy as well.
Since 2016, nearly 300 service members have been memorialized on the Capitol grounds. In the River Valley, Baptist Health held 2 flag exchange ceremonies at its units in Fort Smith and Van Buren. Local leaders and dignitaries in Fort Smith gathered to retire and then raise an American flag. Attendees heard remarks from local veterans on what the day meant to them. The events also recognized Baptist Health employees who have served our country. We've been getting a lot of photos and messages from veterans and families all day today. These are photos from our viewers of the ones who made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. From all of us at 5 News, we want to thank you for sending in these photos, and more importantly, thank you to each and every veteran who has served this country. Developing tonight, the Carroll County Sheriff's Office can move forward now in a partnership with a DNA testing company. It's all in an effort to identify human remains. Now, this comes after the Attorney General's office made a donation to that cause. Carroll County Sheriff's Office is trying to identify human remains found on a woman's property in December of last year. They partnered with a Texas company, but later found it was expensive to test them. In fact, more than $7,500 total. But $5,800 were donated from Secretary Tim Griffin's office, and now the investigation can move forward. The city of Springdale hoping to become regional sports destination with a potential new massive indoor sports facility. These are some renderings shown to City Council this week of what it could look like. It would be about 119,000 square feet, but hold 8 basketball courts, 16 volleyball courts that can transform into 24 pickleball courts. In February, the City Council approved a sports master plan, and this is what the company Garver came up with.
These will be regional facilities, these will be national facilities. There is an opportunity to do that, as well as support your local residents, your local population with first-class facilities that they don't have to leave the community anymore to go to participate in tournaments.
Council took no action on the matter, adding it'll be a continued discussion. Some Arkansas communities will start early voting tomorrow for special elections set for next Tuesday. In Bella Vista, voters will decide to keep a 1% sales tax and what bonds the tax will finance. In Ozark, a referendum establishing a permanent entertainment district downtown in the city is on the ballot. And in Greenland, voters will decide to annex unincorporated property near the southern part of the city. Now, you can find more information like where to vote early on our website at 5newsonline.com. We're also learning new developments in a project that's been in the works now for nearly 20 years in Little Rock. As Maya Ellison tells us, the city's Close the Loop plan aimed at completing the Arkansas River Trail could finally be nearing the finish line.
For decades, the Arkansas River Trail has connected communities and attracted tourists from across the state. But there's still a missing piece. A gap along Cantrell Road, forcing cyclists close to fast-moving traffic and uneven ground.
The city promotes the River Trail as being an attraction for people and a quality of life piece, yet it's not finished.
Vice President of Bicycle Advocacy of Central Arkansas, Joe Jacobs, says the missing link has been a concern for nearly 2 decades.
Either cyclists or pedestrians have to cross 7 different exits and entrances to businesses along here.
Yeah, there's some parts, it gets, there's a dip there that if you're not careful, you could fall out into the traffic.
The city has reviewed several design ideas over the years, but as other major projects took priority, Jacob says this one often fell behind.
Let's focus on what we haven't gotten finished yet. It feels like sections like this just get neglected once all the ribbon cuttings and grand openings of something else is moving into the news cycle, and this gets forgotten all the time.
Little Rock Public Works Director Manish Krishnan says the city is now moving forward with plans to finally close the gap.
We've engaged an engineering firm. We've secured federal funding from Metroplan, who's our local MPO. We've received $400,000 in federal funding, with a $100,000 match from the city of Little Rock.
Renderings were shown to the public on Thursday. The new design will move cyclists away from traffic, include a tunnel and at-grade crossings, safely connecting the Arkansas River Trail once and for all.
So part of that plan is that the trail will go behind the Dillard's IT building and the Packet House. So you get back out on the river for part of it, you get to see that part, and then you'll drop back down into this section.
It's been a long and painstaking process. We admit to that, but our effort has been to move the project ahead, and I think we're doing that.
That was Maya Ellison reporting. Now, Little Rock's Active Transportation Advisory Committee meets tomorrow to discuss the next steps for the Arkansas River Trail project.